Hi guys, this is Lucky with Lucky Sevens Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Today we're going to be doing a tarot deck review of the Runic Tarot by Jack Sephiroth, Alan Dempster, and Jamie Elford. If you're not familiar with runes is actually another divination tool that is used kind of similar to tarot. It is an old Viking tradition. I actually have a rune ring that I wear sometimes. But I thought this was super interesting. I really love the idea of this deck, and the artistry seems to be really beautiful so far. I have not opened it yet. I just took the plastic off of the outside. So this Runic Tarot by Jack Sephiroth, the incredible artist and author of Heaven and Earth Tarot, combines two divination traditions into one unique comprehensive system. Both traditions are a fantastic tool to gain insight into your life. In the Runic Tarot, you'll be able to see how runes converse with tarot and vice versa to create something unique. It is a path of primal magic, powerful divination, and pure spirituality. Each card is connected to both an Old Norse god or goddess and to a rune whose symbol can be found weaved in artwork. All right, so that's what the back of the box says. Now we're gonna get into this. If you're interested in this deck, I will link the where you can find this deck at in the description box below. So I'm already loving the fact that inside of the deck or of the box you have all of the runes. There are 24 runes and they're all listed here. All right. I actually have a rune ring that I wear sometimes. So let's see. So the deck comes with a pretty big book and it's full color. I like that. It gives you the table of contents, the path of runes. Let's see. An introduction to tarot. This wouldn't be something that just looking at it, and because it's two divination tools kind of put together, I'm already looking at this as a deck that you would have to be more advanced to use in your tarot journey or in your runic journey. So in this deck, it shows you that the cups are horns, pentacles are shields, you have wands, and you have swords, okay? And then it says each minor arcana suit also has 4 court cards in the Runic Tarot. These are pages, knights, queens, and kings, which is similar to just regular tarot. All right, so it gives you, tells you what the runes are, and I know I always mess these names up, but you have Fehu, Uras, Therizas, Anzus, Radio, Kinas, Jibo, Unjo, Hagalas, Nothis, Isa, Jira, Iwaz, Perthro, Elhaz, Sowilo, Taiwaz, Burkano, Iwaz, Manis, Lagos, Ingwaz, Degas, and Othelia. All right, so it tells you what the meanings are. Well, it's giving you, okay. I like this because the cards, it tells you about each card and what they mean with the gods that they have represented in this deck and the runes that are represented here. So the Fool is the god Freyr, represented by Jira. The Magician is the god of Heimdall, represented by Manis. The High Priestess is the god of Aruhamla, which is represented by the rune Urus. The Empress is represented by the god Frigg and the rune Burkano. The Emperor is represented by Thor, and Therias is the rune. The Hierophant is the god for Seti, and the rune is radio. The Lovers is represented by the god Bragi and Idun. I love that because the Lovers is representative of the sign of Gemini, and there's two gods that represent this card. So I feel like that kind of is in alignment with the card itself. And its runes are Jibo and Iwaz. The Chariot is represented by Freya. Then you have Kanaz is the rune. The Strength card is represented by the god Thrud. And Wunjo is the rune. The Hermit is represented by Mimir, and the rune is Isa. The Wheel of Fortune is represented by the god Erd, Verhandi, and Shuld. And the rune is Perthro. The Justice card is represented by Tyr, and the rune is Tiwaz. The Hanged Man is represented by the god of Yule. I know I'm saying these wrong. And it's Iwaz is the rune. Death is Odin. And the rune is Ansus. Temperance is the god Sif. And the rune is Dagus. The Devil is Loki. And the rune is Nothis. Tower is Fafnir, and the rune is Fehu. The Star is Jorgmungder and Jord, and the rune is Lagus. The Moon is Baldiris, Hathras, and Mani, and the rune is Ilhas and Othilia. The Sun is represented by the god Sol, and Soilo is the rune. Judgment is represented by Valkyrie, and the rune is Ingwas. The World is represented by Ymir, and the rune is Hagalis. Okay, so, wow. And then they have the imagery, which is incredible, as you can see. And I'm sorry if you guys hear noise in the background. My neighbors seem to be mowing their grass, so my apologies if that's bothersome to you. You have the Magician. I'm just gonna kind of peek through here just a little bit just to see if there is anything before we get actually into the cards that maybe you need to see in this deck. Nope, it kind of looks really similar to any other deck in the sense that it shows you the meaning of every card, and it gives you keywords to it and all of that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and open this deck and see what we have here. All right. So under like my very first impression, let's put this up. The cards, I mean, I've had thicker cards, but they're not thin. All right. You could see there is like a card here that they show for you to follow. I guess the new deck that's coming out. Lo Scarabeo Tarot, I don't know, on Instagram. But and then it gives you an extra card showing the deck. So we're going to take those out and let's see what's going on here. So you have the Fool. And looking at this, I really love this. Oh my goodness. Look at the artwork in this deck, guys. Like, this is insane. There's a pig instead of a dog in this deck. And this is it really has a lot to do with like Vikings, Viking time frame, Viking. If you're interested in the Vikings or you know anything about them, I think you may find this deck very, very interesting. But I really love it. If you see like he's going towards the sun, There is a pig there. I'm trying to see if I can see where the rune is represented here. And it doesn't. I think it's on his cuffs, from what I can tell. I don't see it really anywhere else. But yeah, oh, there it is. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there it is. It's right there. Okay. So then you have the Magician. And this is kind of dope. There's the rune. He's pointing to the rune. He has a peak. He has a, what is this, a cock? Rooster? I don't know. There's a rainbow there. It looks like he's drawing power from the sun. If I had to guess, he's got a wand in his hand. He's got it looks like the runes, or this could be a compass. I don't know. This is going to be a deck that I'm telling you, if you are not already like really into runes, into tarot, if you don't know the basics, this is going to be a really difficult deck to use. So I would encourage this deck to be for like people that are already really into divination, and those that are just trying to, you know, I would say increase your craft, that type of thing. But I do see where there's a lot that can be learned here, okay? The High Priestess. I love this. This is such a beautiful depiction of the High Priestess. First of all, she's dressed in all white. She has the horns on her head, the staff in her arms. There is a big, gigantic bull behind her that you can barely kind of see. There's a fire on one side and nothing, you know, just the regular sticks on the other. She's kind of staring at the fire. I love this energy. There is something growing at her feet. Okay. The bull behind her, I want to say for me would, first of all, symbolize Taurus energy. All right. Stubborn energy is kind of what I'm getting from it. But there's like the pause that the High Priestess sort of has, where the High Priestess is mute. She's a spiritualist. She's a thinker. Okay. Then we got the Empress, and you can see the rune connected here. I don't know. Did we look to see where the rune was here? Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to see if I can see where they have the rune. Oh, it's on her necklace. It's here on her necklace. I wish they would show it bigger, like the rune in, because the fact that it's not evident to see right off the bat, if you don't read the book and know it like the back of your hand, then you might be missing out on information because the rune is not readily like visible. Then you have the Empress, and the rune is here. The rune connection is there. And she has a spindle with the baby in her arms, which is different because normally the Empress is pregnant. Here, she's actually creating something, and she already has a child in her arms, all right? There's I don't know what that is, what kind of bird that is. I would have to look a little deeper. There's trees around her. It looks like something, I don't know, something right there. Tell me in the comment section down below, like, what you guys are feeling about this deck. This seems to be a really complicated deck that's going to take a lot of energy, a lot of learning, which I like decks like that because they challenge me, because it forces you to have to like really get to know the deck and create a relationship there. And you guys know how I feel about creating a relationship with your deck and how important that is. So you have the Emperor. The rune is on his belt. I love his hair is red. He's got, that's that fiery energy. He's got the lightning in the background. There is a bull head, or is that a sheep's head? Matter of fact, it kind of looks like a sheep to me, but maybe not. There's a bunch of skulls around him. His eyes look like... sorry, guys. His eyes look like lightning. All right. I like that. Like I said, this is a deck I'm going to have to study for a while before I actually use it in my readings. The Hierophant. This is really beautiful. Okay. Trying to see where the rune is. Okay, the rune is here at the top. There's people. The Hierophant does talk about religion. The Hierophant is a religious figure, structure, that sort of thing. And it looks like he is, I don't know, in church, teaching some type of church, or religious factors connected with source, with God. There's a dog here. That sort of, the dog to me may represent some type of loyalty. He's actually holding a sword in his mouth, if you can see that, the dog is. And there are people standing there in worship, it looks like. So I definitely like that. I also like, if you kind of look at this, there's a crack in the floor, or there's something that is kind of separating, and it's right down the middle. And that to me can represent the change between the physical body and the spiritual body. Then we have the Lovers. Okay. This card is so beautiful. So there is one of the runes, and on his chest is the other rune. There's a rainbow behind them, 2 trees growing. It looks to be like, I don't know, they were writing something in stone here, and then on this side, kind of looks like a musical instrument. He looks like he's meditating, like he's in prayer, and she kind of looks like, you know, she's doing her own thing too. So again, something that I would have to really look into to see what the meaning behind that is and really kind of sit with it. The Chariot, the cats are pulling her chariot. The rune is on the front of the chariot. She has this whip in her hand like she is ready for anything. And there's this white, it kind of looks like a sheet behind her. It may be smoke. I can't tell in the present moment, but let me tell you, one thing I can say, as much as I do love this deck, the one thing I don't feel like, I don't know, I don't feel like these are going to be cards that may last for a really, really long time. And the reason for that is not necessarily because of the thickness. It has a kind of semi-thickness to it, but I just feel like by touching certain things, based on the feel of it, the top may kind of come off a little bit. I don't know. I'm gonna have to use it for a while and see how they manage. But with the 2 front cards, if you look, this is what I'm talking about. Like on the very, very side, the card, and I just opened this, you guys watched me do it, is the black part is kind of already maybe coming off on the side a little bit. I love the deck, and I think it's an amazing deck. I just don't know if it will last long term. But we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong. The Strength card. So I love that there's this bear that she is overcoming. And then if you look, the Strength card is represented by Leo, and her hair is red, which to me represents fire. And there's the rune. There is some fairy back here. You could see that. There's fairies actually all over. They seem to be in like the woods. And it kind of looks like she's tamed that beast. I love that. That's beautiful. The Hermit. The Hermit, it looks like this is a tree. You see the rune represented here. There's marks in the tree, which kind of look like other runes, but and the trees, you know, to me, trees definitely do represent wisdom, but in a sense, they also represent being stuck, you know, because once a tree grows roots, you can't really move it, you know, once it gets to a certain level. But with the Hermit, this being the Hermit card, there is that small bit of light right there. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but I like that. I like the depiction of it, how it's super dark. And then on his mind or on his head, that's where the rune is at, you know, to represent sort of his own enlightenment. Now the Wheel of Fortune. So you have the wheel. I don't think that's the rune, though. It might be. I'm trying to see. You have the wheel. There's 3 people here, which I think represent the 3 gods that we saw when I was reading off the gods that were there in this card. It doesn't look like the wheel is turning. It does look like it's piecing together. You know, each one of the gods has a piece of this string. And if you know about the Vikings, the string was really important, and it being cut or anything like that can indicate death or change in some way. So then we have Justice, okay? I love this. He's got the sword in one hand. He's got this big wolf behind him. His hand is going in the wolf's mouth, so to speak. But it looks like he is definitely not afraid. The wolf's eyes are green. There is the rune. He's got a sword in one hand. It's kind of like Justice can bring the wrath, is what I'm seeing from this so far. And the rune is also on his sword. Interesting. Then we have the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man, if we look at it upside down, well, first of all, the rune is right here on his chest. But if you look at it upside down, this is someone that maybe, I don't know, he's got skis on his feet, if you could see that. There's arrows. One of them seems to be kind of falling out because he is upside down. It looks like he, instead of being held up there, it's like he decided to do like a flip on this mountain. The sun seems to be right behind him. Could be the moon, but it looks light out. So he's got an axe in one hand and something else in another. It may be 2 axes, but you can't quite see what this actually is. I do like, I don't know, but maybe it's because I am a tarot, an artist myself, a creator of tarot decks myself. But I like the fact that the artist, Jack, actually like has his signature in the bottom, because this is a form of art. Each card takes so long to create, to get it to your specific, you know, the idea of what you have in your head and create it on paper. All right, the Death card. Interesting. So there's the rune. You've got 2 wolves here, which is unusual. It usually ends up being like 1 or many wolves. So there's 2 wolves. There's a lot of crows, and I don't know if they're crows or some other type of bird. It's a very dark scene. Somebody coming out of the light with red eyes. Out of the light into the darkness, which does kind of indicate death. If you look behind, it looks like he's coming from a city into the darkness, but he's being guided by these wolves. Interesting. The Temperance. Wow, what a beautiful card. So her hair is gorgeous down to the floor. She's surrounded by mountains and these beautiful flowers. There are the runes, the rune symbols all over, actually. I feel like this kind of does represent patience. If you look, she's, surrounded by flowers, but the further out, there is this darkness, right? And so there's this energy of the balance between the dark and the light that is representative of the Temperance. And I like that, the Temperance represents Sagittarius, and it kind of looks like she's going on a journey. And Sagittariuses are known for their travel, for traveling and things like that. So that kind of does represent the card of Sagittarius for me a little bit better than many in the traditional way of the Temperance. So the Devil, all right, and you see a god, it looks like, with the horns and red eyes above. There's the rune. There's a man here. This man seems to be surrounded by death. And the Devil has the fire on one side, but earth, it just looks like earth on the other. Or only fire coming out of one arm. I don't know. Yeah, because his hand is kind of like this. To where, and he's giving the symbol of like, shh, be quiet. And it's like he doesn't want anyone to know that he is trying to manipulate the situation, which kind of is indicative of the Devil. But it's funny too, because if you look at the card as well, you see he's rubbing, it kind of looks like he's rubbing 2 sticks together. So it may also be to some degree that maybe the Devil is in some way maybe gonna help him with the fire, to create a fire for himself. I don't know. Again, something I would have to read the book about. I'm not going to go through and read every single depiction of every single card in the book because that would take forever. But I definitely just want to show you guys the artwork and how this deck looks for you. So we have the Tower. This is interesting. There is a, what is this? A dragon, it looks like. Breathing fire. There's the rune right on his forehead. And you've got 2 people that are flying through the air. Lots of dead bodies you can see here. Bones, fragments. There's some swords there. So you see the upheaval with this card that the Tower can create. You've got the Star. Okay, so the rune is on his chest. There is a dragon there. It looks like he's fighting the dragon. He's in the water. The dragon looks huge because he goes all the way, he has a shadow all the way back to here. What does this man have in his hand? It looks like a small ship in his hand. He's kind of protecting from the The dragon. Interesting depiction of the star. So then the moon. And the moon, there looks to be, well, we've got two runes here, and they seem to be fighting one another. And that could indicate the darkness and the light that comes with the moon. You know, when the moon changes, it does affect our emotions. Okay. Interesting enough that there's a red rose that seems to be, I don't know, there's something protecting it around, that's like around it. And there are some flying wolves. I don't know if they're jumping or they're flying, but they're in the background here. And it seems like, you know, there's someone here in the light with the wand and someone here in the darkness with the sword. So, very interesting depiction. Hopefully you guys can see that well. We have the sun. All right. And there's the rune. The sun seems to be on fire, which, again, we're talking about fire sign with the sun, Leo. She has a smile on her face. And it looks like there's a wolf chasing them. All right. And what you see is them going really fast through the clouds. I kind of like this. Again, these are cards, guys, that you're going to have to go look through the book. This is not a deck that you can miss, that you can kind of put the book to the side and not read it. You have to read the book in order to know what exactly is going on here, because these are so different from actual, the regular tarot decks. So the rune symbol is here and here, it looks like, for judgment. And you've got her with some wings. There's a bunch of, it looks like she's an angel and coming to take a soul. She's got her hands out, pulling his soul with judgment. I like this. This is actually a really good depiction of the Judgment card to me. It looks like he was in battle. They lost. She's taking his soul. So the world. In this depiction of the world, obviously the rune is here. There is some sort of green. I don't know if that's his heart or I don't know. But it seems like he could be becoming a tree, or like it's going from the earth changing into a physical body. I don't even know how I would look at that. There are people here though in the bottom. Yeah. Interesting. Now, so we have the, I want to say this is the Ace of Wands, but I don't remember what we were supposed to be. They had changed, I want to say they changed the wands, but, okay, so they changed, this is the Ace of Cups. So they changed the cups to horns. So the Ace of Cups in the water. I like that. Everything around it seems to be growing. It's a pretty good depiction of that. Then you've got the Two of Cups. There's two gods here. Both of these two people seem to be intertwining their cup. There's a rainbow over top of them. They seem to be like getting married. That's kind of what it looks like to me. All right, so the Three of Cups, or Three of Horns in this deck, you've got four symbols there. Three people sort of celebrating over food. Everybody's got a smile on their face. Interesting. Then we have the Four of Cups. So, or Four of Horns in this deck. So then we have the symbols here, it looks like a horse with a baby horse and this man kind of chilling with his horns on the ground. So you can see where the 4 cups or 4 horns are here, sitting in the water. He looks to be happy. All right, very different from what the normal 4 of cups would mean, I guess. But it is a card that represents commitment. So with the horse and the baby horse behind it, that may be what it's representing. So then we have the 5 of cups, and as you can see, a part of her face is showing you the skeletal part, and it looks like 2 of these horns have spilled over. She's very unhappy. She seems melancholy, and there's dead people or people trying to get out of these cups here, and these ones have spilled over, and these people look to be like swimming or dying. I don't know. That's super interesting. The 6 of cups. Okay, so I like this. This is a couple with a baby. Flowers growing. You know, the 6 of cups does talk about looking at the past sometimes. Sometimes it can represent like the growth from the past. So then we've got the 7 of cups. The 7 of cups here, it looks like everybody bringing this child a gift, maybe many different gifts. And there could be a lot of confusion with having to pick which gift the child is going to accept, which I kind of like that. The 8 of cups or horns. So there's some runic symbols there. The horns are all here. There's only 7 horns here. Maybe this is a horn in his mouth? I don't know. Oh, the 8 of horns. The squirrel is taking the 8th horn. Interesting. There's a dragon. All right. The 9 of horns or 9 of cups. So there's someone, it's kind of like they're at a restaurant. They're drinking out of the cups. There is somebody bringing the cups to them. So this is kind of indicative of, you know, being able to celebrate or some sort of celebration, indulging with the 9 of cups. The 10 of cups, they're celebrating. Everybody has a cup. They're celebrating with their king, it looks like. I like that. The page of cups, this young, pretty girl with this cup in her hand. The symbol is there. The knight of cups. He has his cup. He's ready to move forward or to offer it. It looks like he has it up in the air. There's a symbol right here. I mean, some of these cards are not really interesting per se, so I'm not giving them too much. But then we've got the Queen of Cups. Some of them are kind of just regular. There's dolphins there. Dolphins are some of the smartest mammals. Also represent, like there's water behind her, so the emotion of the cups. The King of Cups. So there's 2 dolphins behind him. And you've got the runic symbol. He's dressed in green. Interesting. Now, I want to say these are pentacles. So this would be what? The Ace of Pentacles. Let's make sure. Yep. The Ace of Pentacles. And in this deck, they're called shields. The Ace of Shields. So, I mean, that's kind of indicative of the regular or irregular, like Ace of Pentacles energy. Then you've got the 2 of Pentacles. They're sharing a meal together in the mountains. The Three of Pentacles. So he's working hard to create these shields. Shield maker. But I don't... His shields are up on the wall, it looks like. The Four of Shields. So there are 4 shields there on the boat that's on fire. He seems to be kind of like watching the boat on fire as all these people have... Are these people? It looks like they're people. But they may not be. But it's kind of like he's watching the boat catch on fire with the shields that are there. Protecting himself, possibly. The Five of Pentacles. So in this Five of Pentacles, you could tell he's been through a lot. Battle-wise, the shields are broken. There's 5 shields here. And he is kind of dressing some wounds, which is pretty much what the Five of Pentacles, you know, does represent. So I like that card. The Six of Pentacles, they're ready for war. It looks like he's talking them up, ready to go into battle, ready to, you know, take on the day type of thing. So there's a lot of planning that's going in with the Six of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles. Now he's looking over all of the shields that he has here, probably from winning battles. It looks like he's, I don't know, he could be a king of some kind with the fur that he has on and the sword in his hand. The Eight of Pentacles, you can see where they're working really hard on these shields, to create these shields. The Nine of Pentacles. So she's got a bunch of swords behind her with an owl there. And then on the floor, it looks like there's a carpet made of a bear, made up of a bear. Her shield sitting in front of her. As a matter of fact, it looks like the carpet and the chair she's sitting in is made up of a bear. And there's those 9 shields behind her, as if she's protected. Interesting. The 10 of Shields. So you can see them celebrating. They have, it looks like they went to battle. They're coming back with the cups and the shields, or the horns and the shields. It looks like they've won something. All right. The spoils of war. The Page of Pentacles. All the pages so far kind of look like girls. So, I mean, I like that. The younger women, possibly. The Knight of Pentacles. He doesn't look like he's going anywhere in this, you know. He's kind of looks like he's trotting if he's moving at all, which is really indicative of the Knight of Pentacles. Then we got the Queen of Pentacles. I like this. She's dressed in green. She's got this beautiful gold headdress on. The trees are growing fruit around her, which indicates that she's well taken care of, especially by the gold that she has. I like that. The King of Pentacles. Now, he's got his shield. He's also wearing green. Excuse me, guys. You can tell they're sitting in the earth, which is, obviously, this is an earth sign, so. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of just the regular King of Pentacles energy. So now we're getting into the wands. So this is the Ace of Wands. Now, there's fire in the background, and then it kind of looks like a cross here with a bunch of stuff on it. So could indicate some sort of sacrifice, maybe. Again, I would have to look to see. It also may indicate the earth is being scorched, because you have, you know, plain earth here, and then there's so much fire in the background. So the desire for change could be indicated with that. So then we've got the Two of Wands. You got a man here with a map. One wand in hand, the other behind him. And it looks like he's reading the map to try to figure out what direction he wants to go. Three of Wands. So you've got three people here holding three wands, waiting on this ship, either to come in or to go out. Don't know. And they're looking at the horizon in the distance. Four of Wands. So you've got two people in between four wands. Interesting. There's some sort of, I don't know, it looks like gods' heads right there. But they've come together with this Four of Wands energy. It looks like a beautiful day. They're dressed in all white. Could be that marriage or connection, or solidifying a marriage or connection. So then we've got the Five of Wands, and her hands seem to be tied, or she seems to be tied up. She's angry as all hell. She's yelling, you could see that. And then there's these four wands. They look like they're coming at her, like she's being burned at the stake. And she's connected to one of the wands. Really interesting. So then you've got the Six of Wands. Six of Wands. And he looks to be hyping everyone up. You know, hyping everybody up. They're all excited. He's holding his flag. The Seven of Wands. You can see it looks like someone's reaching out for one of the wands here. And he has a wand in his hand. Interesting. But maybe that's not someone reaching for the wand as much as it is trying to shield themselves from the light, the lightning that's coming in, to be able to see the person. I don't know. Again, something that you're going to have to look at the depiction of the card in the book. You're going to have to read about it. The Eight of Wands. So here's the rainbow, the lights. It looks like the sun's going down. He is reading, but he's not looking at the book. So, the Eight of Wands are in the form of a circle. Interesting. The Nine of Wands. So here's this elderly man in the woods. The Nine of Wands are creating some symbols here. These are, I'm telling you guys, reading the book for this deck is super imperative. The Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands, he has the power. It looks like, well, there's some crows or birds in the background. He's holding one wand, but he has the power over all of the others as well. Interesting. Then we've got the Page of Wands. So in this one, the page, there's some sunflowers in the background, the sun, and this page seems to be ready or moving forward. I don't know. Then we have the Knight of Wands, and he is hauling ass. This, as you can see, the Knight of Wands, the horse is jumping through fire or jumping over fire kind of fearlessly. All right. And we've got the Queen of Wands. Here she is. It looks like she's protected by the fire, or she created it. She's smiling. She's not sitting, she's standing. So that indicates action to me in this deck. And you've got the King of Wands, also standing, not sitting. And there's fire all around him. He actually, if you see his hand, it's like this, like he's creating that fire. His hair is red, her hair is red. Yeah, he's ready for action. Then you've got swords energy. So the Ace of Swords. It looks like an anchor necklace. Here, there's a bunch of runes written on the swords. It's in the clouds, which does indicate like communication. But then there's like one little petal of earth there. The Two of Swords. So here she is sort of protecting herself. She has on, obviously she made a kill of a single wolf. Looks like she's kind of hiding with the two symbols behind her. She's in the darkness. She seems to be naked other than the wolf jacket, or I don't know what that would be called, and her swords. So then we've got the Three of Swords. Wow. And in this, you could see there's three swords going through a man. There's a man behind him that is, even still, even though the three swords are all the way through this man, there's a man behind him ready to, like, I don't know, cut his head off, what have you, even though he's already dead. I don't know if this is a red flag or what. Kind of energy of caution. Four of Swords. So there's a boat. There's a symbol. You've got these men that, I don't know if they're seeing someone off, deciding. You know, it's kind of like, are they going to get in the boat, or is the boat taking off? You know, I feel like this is, again, a depiction you would have to look at in the book. So the Five of Swords here. He's got all the swords. They look to be on his back. It looks like he lit the whole village on fire. The Six of Swords. He's not protecting anyone. There's no one else in this boat, which is abnormal for the Six of Swords card. He's in the boat. He's going towards the sun that's going down. And he's got these swords, almost as maybe he's protecting the swords, you know. He's got his wand in his hand. He's action-oriented, all right, towards forward movement. Then you've got the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords energy here, you could see he's hidden behind this big, I don't know, tree stump or what have you. And there's these two men walking, or warriors walking, and he's ready to go in for the kill. So far, okay, so I see he's got 4 swords, 5, 6, and then the 7th sword is on this guy. But they're not ready. They're having a conversation, which does talk about like the sneakiness that comes with the 7 of Swords energy. So I like that. Then we've got the 8 of Swords. So there's all these swords pointed at him, and he's got this one sword, but he's not pointing it back at them. It's almost like he's given up. He's given up the fight. He's taken a knee with this card. The 9 of Swords. So there's the swords in his back. The symbols on the ground, and then there's 2 swords that missed him. Interesting. The 10 of Swords. Wow. So there's a tree here. It doesn't look like it's growing. A bunch of symbols, a bunch of swords. It looks like there was a lot of death here. This may even be, I don't know, some type of gravestone of some kind. The Page of Swords. I like her. She looks cool. Dressed in her, it looks like leather. But yeah, the Page of Swords. I like her hair. The Knight of Swords. So in this Knight of Swords, it kind of looks like he's definitely moving forward very quickly. You could see that with the way that the card is kind of like moving the air. You could see he's moving forward very, very quickly, which is indicative of the Knight of Swords. Then we've got the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords, there's a crow or a bird flying over top of her. She has a sword in her hand. It's almost like she's very protected. She's side-eyeing, if you could see that. It looks like she's side-eyeing anyone coming towards her. She's definitely alone. And then the last card here is the King of Swords. So in the King of Swords energy, there's 2 birds. I like how in this deck they went with all the kings or queens. There was like 1 for the queen and 2 for the kings. But he's got his sword ready for, it looks like he's protecting himself. There's another sword in his pocket, or not in his pocket, but on his belt. He's on top of a rock. And these look like eagles in this card. I don't know, guys. So that is the Runic Tarot. I will say, let me see how it shuffles. I mean, I think it shuffles pretty good, guys. I like the deck. I love the artwork. Well, most of the artwork. But, I don't know. It's going to be a long time, you know, like a study. You have to study this deck. This is not a deck that you're going to be able to just use regularly, like without looking at it first and really seeing what the meaning of these cards are within the scope of the book, because it is combining 2 completely different divination tools together. So I do hope that this was helpful. If you want to get the deck, like I said, the link will be listed in the description box below. I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.